Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of May 29th through June 4th, 2023. All right, so this week we have a full moon towards the end of the week, which will be around Saturday and Sunday. Full moon here in deep Scorpio. And so as we do approach the end of the week, it is good to notice that, first of all, there is some momentum building. There's some wind in our sails for this lunar month, getting to the heightened energy of the lunar month, but starting to get into the deeper qualities over the weekend to help balance out a lot of the Taurus energy. We do have the sun in Taurus at the moment, which is helping us become grounded, connect more with our inner and outer resources in life. But of course, it's also important to connect to the deeper values of life as well, which the Scorpio full moon will help us do. A lot of the aspects are concentrated towards the end of the week here. Friday, Venus will be trining up to watery and spiritual Neptune. So there could be a good flow in terms of our relationships and what we're enjoying in life, a little bit more on that etheric or spiritual level. And then Sunday, Mercury will be going over spontaneous and thinking outside the box Uranus. And so perhaps a new beginning with this, a new perspective on things, good time to learn, especially if it's about things outside the norm and maybe communicating in a way that's a bit different than we normally do. All right, and some sign changes. A big one lately is that Jupiter is getting very close to Aries now. And so there is the shift of our worldview from a yearly sense going to where Jupiter's been the past year in watery Pisces and now starting to go into more fiery Aries. So we'll talk about that. And also Venus is changing sign early in the week, going from more practical Gemini to more protective Cancer to join up with Mars there. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, May 29th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. If you're wondering, for example, why I just said that the sun's in Taurus and you maybe were expecting it to be in Gemini, definitely check out that link down below for more information. We are using the visible sky on this channel, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so really big week. As you can see, not a whole lot of aspects, but there are a couple towards the end of the week. I think the big hallmarks for this week is the fact that, of course, it is a full moon week. So that's again going to be Saturday and Sunday, building momentum here for this lunar cycle. And Jupiter changing sign, getting very close now to Aries. And this will be accentuating roughly the next year of cultivating more of that assertive and fiery nature, which has been really already in the mix. It also lifts off more of that spiritual or inward or emotional nature that's been expanded the past 12 months roughly with Jupiter now leaving watery Pisces. So that's a big shift, not necessarily for this week, but these surrounding weeks. Maybe some of you have already been feeling it as Jupiter is pretty much in Aries now. And Venus changing sign as well. She's going to leave more communicative and practical Gemini and go into more protective Cancer to join up with Mars. So let's just do a little bit of a recap here, see where everything is coming into the week, then we'll sort of break it down. So yeah, the main focus is on cultivating those inner and outer resources for this time of the year, right? Sun in Taurus, it's a great time to be focused on our inner resources like self-worth, self-value, inner strength, our natural talents and abilities, right? Mustering up, building, connecting to those inner resources, but also externally as well. Taurus is always a good time to be focused on the abundances of life, connecting to nature, having more of the sensory experiences of things, and perhaps even cultivating the material world or material values like resources and finance and things like that. So very good to be connecting to again, those inner and outer resources. And we are building momentum with that, as that is the energy that we are working with this lunar month from the new moon that happened roughly about a week and a half ago. Okay. Mercury is still in transit of fiery Aries, where he's been from the past month or so with his retrograde here as well. And so there is still a lot of this energy about fiery communications and perhaps a fiery mind. And so it is good to channel that fire into learning, gaining information, but also maybe a bit of that directness or proactivity with communication. And maybe those kinds of mental and communicative spheres just being a bit needing more of that assertive, initiating, and active energy that Aries gives us. So that's all great. That's moving forward now with Mercury full steam ahead. Almost with his movement coming out of that retrograde. And he will go over that Uranus a little later in the week, which I'll talk about. But yeah, this is really accentuated because, of course, Jupiter entering Aries, going over the North Node. This signifies, too, that a lot of our life path at the moment, these, again, surrounding weeks, can be really good for connecting to that fiery side. And really for the next, almost year here with Jupiter's transit of Aries, Aries is a bit of a smaller constellation there, but Jupiter does tend to expand things. So it is going to be really expanding upon that fiery nature of ourselves, being proactive, assertive, initiating, being independent, learning a lot about ourselves. Great to do this through experience, go out and listen to our gut instincts, pursue our personal needs and desires, set some goals. It is that fiery energy really getting expanded with this, and really a strong contrast to what Jupiter's been expanding the past year with watery Pisces there. Okay, so that's definitely a shift that we should already be feeling here this week with Jupiter. Okay, but Venus finishing practical Gemini, good for enjoying some of that learning and communication stuff just until about Tuesday when she starts to shift closer to Cancer. And Mars here, already in Cancer, suggesting the importance of when we are taking those actions and being proactive in our life, we're likely doing so in such a way that's a little bit more protective. Okay, Mars in Cancer is all about asserting ourselves in a way that's more about our emotional values. And one of the great expressions of this would be to put some initiative and action towards more emotional values, intrinsic values, and our personal life. And so that's, of course, very good to be doing here at the moment. All right, so breaking this down one day at a time here, starting with Monday. So again, no major aspects this early part of the week. So it's going to place more of an emphasis on the moon's placement. So the moon will be in Virgo, which is all about improvement and refinement. In fact, the moon will be here all the way from Monday through Thursday until we have some of those aspects in the full moon over the weekend. So yeah, this whole early to middle part of the week, really good for improvement orientation. It's the time of the month for getting in touch with that more detail-oriented, pragmatic, what can be fixed or refined upon, getting into the details of things. And if that wants to be externalized, it's always a good time for personal development, doing our work and service, maybe building some routines, right? Getting into that improvement nature. So really that early part of the week, really good for this. Tuesday, Venus will be getting closer to Cancer. So that's going to start her transit here for the coming weeks around. Now with Mars not only being about asserting the protective side and pursuing more personal or intrinsic values, Venus is suggesting we can really enjoy this and connect more in our relationships in this way. So again, a great time here for more enjoyment and relating, but a great time to be connecting more to our personal lives, more towards our emotional values, and perhaps connecting in a way that is a bit caring, nurturing, and protective, right, in those relationships with Venus here. So enjoying some of that personal life, maybe private life, protective life, and those family-like or closer relationships can be great with Venus's transit here. And that's going to balance out a lot of Mars's energy. Mars isn't so comfortable here, right? He's a fire energy in a water sign. And so, of course, there's a bit of a clash there. Plus, he's considered debilitated here. But Venus can help balance that out. Okay, so Venus coming in, a little bit easier to work with, perhaps some of that personal or emotional life energy. Okay, but that's just going to be around Tuesday as she does get closer to that Cancer. Okay, so that's the early part of the week. And again, as we get closer to Friday, or excuse me, as we get closer to Saturday and Sunday, we will be coming up to that full moon. Okay, but when we do get to Friday, Venus will be in good harmony up to Neptune. It's nice to see that. Again, she is about enjoyments and what we value in our relationships. And Neptune's all about receptivity. So it can be easy, perhaps, to go a bit with the flow in our personal life or with our relationships. Maybe enjoying a bit of spiritual time or alone time or turning a bit inward. It's a bit easier to work with some of that spiritual or watery energy there. And just nice to see those two planets who tend to like each other in good harmony there when it comes to the values, relationships, being a little bit more unconditional, accepting, and receptive. Okay, and then here getting really close to the full moon. So full moon again will be in Scorpio. We will have a bit of that Libra energy here on Friday as we approach the full moon. So maybe some themes there again about relationships or balance on Friday with that Venus trine. But definitely starting to feel that Scorpio energy over the weekend. And so the full moon will be at exactly 22:45, or around 22:45 Eastern time of the Americas on Saturday, on the 3rd of June there. But for all intents and purposes, we will be experiencing it for most of us both Saturday and Sunday. Okay, and so this is deep Scorpio full moon. It excavates the deeper world. The point here is that it balances out a lot of the Taurus energy. Taurus, again, it's a time to be focused on cultivating those inner and outer resources. It's an earth sign. It's more supposed to be about groundingness, building strength inwardly and outwardly. But Scorpio reminds us of our deeper values. And so this gets magnified, illuminated, the importance of connecting to what really matters at the end of the day, to our deeper emotional values. Perhaps a good time to be aware of any wounds or things we can heal. The full moon will actually be a bit close to a fucus. Okay, it'll be right about here. And so, yeah, that helps balance out that earth energy with this deeper water energy. So good to do a status check. How is this Scorpio side of ourself over the weekend? Are we connected to our deeper values? Are we open to really exposing ourselves a bit emotionally and personally, at least for ourselves, to be aware of it? In our external world, still recognizing the importance of boundaries. Scorpio still is very important for boundaries. We don't want to be open or vulnerable with anyone. Of course, it's important to have boundaries of all types in relationships. But in those closer relationships or where there is trust and mutual intimacy, it is a good time to also get deeper in those relationships as well. On a mundane level, good time for research, uncovering deep things, psychology, the esoteric, the occult, the hidden world. But again, excavating the hidden world for ourselves and life is a great way of working with it. The full moon will be squaring up to Saturn. And so it could be good to challenge ourselves in terms of patience and perseverance a little bit in working towards some things for the long term there, if it is healing based, or if it is any type of maybe inspirations or aspirations or visions for the future we have with Saturn and Aquarius. But in either case, good to challenge ourselves to incorporate a bit of that maturity, responsibility, and discipline during the full moon time period. But it is trining Mars. It's nice to see Mars in good harmony in the sky. And so that assertive side, and then what Jupiter's expanding with Aries, is again accentuated, and in this case is in good support with the full moon. And if you do take Mars to be the traditional ruler of Scorpio, we can see that again where a lot of that illumination of the full moon is coming in. It's not only the deeper values of Scorpio, but these more personal values of Cancer. Mars here suggests that it might be through our intrinsic values, through our personal life, through who and what's important to us on a personal level, that we can be really developing a lot of this deeper values and scorpionic energy here. All right, so that's good. Chiron's also trining it, so again, it can be quite a healing or therapeutic full moon as well. All right, but a good time to do a status check, perhaps make some shifts and changes for the lunar month, and then we'll be on our way into next week, implementing those changes for the remainder of the lunar cycle for the next 2 weeks. Okay, Moon will be in Ophiuchus on Sunday, accentuating the healing side of things. But Mercury will be over Uranus, so Sunday could be a good day to, again, think outside the box a little bit. Maybe use some of that fiery mind in a way that's different, unorthodox, thinking outside the box. Could come up with some innovative ideas or perspectives. And again, maybe communicating in a way that's a little bit new or different or outside the norm with that conjunction. All right, so everyone, that's the week in a nutshell. Most important things would be the full moon, approaching that, building momentum for the lunar cycle, perhaps making some shifts and changes around the weekend to further the lunar cycle's energy of balancing, grounding Taurus with deeper Scorpio. Jupiter is, set in Aries now, and so there is this expansion really starting when it comes to the fiery elements of life for the coming months. And so that's very nice to see with that transit as well. Jupiter coming out of perhaps a bit more of the watery side of things lately. We do have Venus changing sign going into, again, more of the protective energy, which is a big part of the full moon. And we do have the aspects over the weekend, a bit of harmony with those relationships or values and enjoyments when it comes to the more spiritual or unconditional side of things on Friday, and perhaps some innovative, different mind perspectives, ideas and communications that can be great around Sunday. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. In fact, there was a report just released that we are offering now at the on the website, True Sidereal Reports. So it's something that I've been wanting to do for years. Took me a few years to finally finish it. But if you do want to see exactly your chart in true sidereal form, but also all of the descriptions, there is the report for that. So you can check the website for that, but also do sign up for MTZ Insiders, where we did make that announcement a couple weeks ago. And but yeah, thank you so much for all of your support, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.